Speaking of doing so well, so well. Not really. They're not really doing well at all. But
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you look at it.
yeah, true. You know what? You're right. Xbox, their revenue fell 7% in quarter two as hardware sales dropped 29%. A
Hmm.
decline in fall from the gaming division the previous year. Microsoft completed its Activision Blizzard merger in October of 2023. In the process of taking ownership of franchises including Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch, they saw a significant rise in sales for the gaming division in Q2 of last year. Q2 of this year has not lived up to the promise.
Yeah. Let's see. They just recently uh finally merged with Activision, and so I guess this is the second quarter since that deal. So like they're comparing those numbers to try and get an idea of how
Yeah,
they're
so
actually doing.
so
Um,
last year, Q2 of last year was the first quarter of like we own them, and this year is the fifth quarter. You know, it's a year later.
oh, gotcha. Okay, all right.
So now they're like, man, we lost 7% this year, and hardware sales went down another 29%.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff, specifically regarding Game Pass, which is Game Pass set a new quarterly record for revenue and grew its PC subscriber base by over 30%. Um,
Which I mean, I think that's what they need to do. They need to grow Game Pass in other places like the PC, which
well,
smart.
so yeah, we were talking about this.
Mm.
I learned recently that a vast majority of Game Pass money comes from console users.
That makes sense, especially because they got rid of Xbox Live Gold. So
Oh,
like to get online play on Xbox, you have to have a one of the Game Pass subscriptions, even if it's only the one that gives you like 25 games.
right. Which all of a sudden the talk of like, man, y'all are losing money on making these consoles when you could just make this service. All of a sudden, that's a real problem. You
Yeah,
now like that the Game Pass is how you're making money, and you're getting most of your Game Pass money through your consoles. Guess what?
not good, not good at
You
all.
now you now like until but this is the thing. They grew its PC subscriber base by 30%. So the idea is if they can keep that rolling, maybe there's a way out eventually, and they start putting Game Pass on other devices that are not, you know, any of this. Or if they put out this future Switch Steam Deck competitor, and that's where people start going to get their Game Pass, and that's like their console, quote unquote, like then they don't need to make a proper box ever again.
Yeah, the only reason they need to keep making boxes is because there's three reasons in my mind. One is the fact that it's they get 30% of every game sold there. So
Hmm.
like oh you bought this game on the Xbox, well we get 30% of that. The other
Right.
one is the other one that comes to mind is the fact that there's a lot of people in that ecosystem like who have been there since at least the 360, if not longer, and own games that they have carried over at this point. And
Hmm.
I can't speak for most people, but if I was an Xbox guy, like I bought the original, the 360, the one, and I just have never left. I'm in that ecosystem. That's where my games are, and they were like, "Oh, that shit's over. Go buy a PlayStation and lose all your shit." I would never buy an Xbox product ever again.
Sure.
Period. I would be so pissed.
Hmm.
So I think that that's like the second reason, and the third reason is they do make some money on these boxes. It's not a huge amount, but uh,
Okay. So first point. What was the first point? It was
um, God,
oh
I
no, they make $30 or thirty
yeah,
percent.
30% per game sold.
So the problem here is what the position they're at in the console wars. They are significantly in third place and declining.
Yes.
And given that the fact that they are now making more and more Xbox games just over on the PlayStation so they can make money over there, there's less incentive to get the Xbox for the first reason. And that'll happen over time.
Yes.
So they do make money there, but I think less and less people are going to be buying games specifically for the Xbox. Second point, I do think that is a real reason. That's why I cherish my Xbox so long as it is the only device that I can play old skate games on.
Yeah, that's... If I want an easy way to play a lot of video games, it is in fact my Xbox.
Right. The one thing that could possibly make that not a problem for them is that Phil, despite the mistakes and missteps in running Xbox in this time, he has been good about backwards compatibility, and maybe that transitions to like, all right, how do we get this working elsewhere? Maybe we take our talents to make that happen.
That just seems... The problem there is not like their games, it's like the third party stuff where it's like okay, EA, we want to make it so Alice Madness Returns will run on a PS5. Let's get this licensing deal done.
So first of all, they need to make as many like direct, least amount of steps moves possible in regards to some of those. But I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe some of this will take time, but if that saves us a lot of time, effort, and money selling these boxes, it might be worth it. And then maybe they don't transition 100% of them. Like there are going to be some tragedies, and like 30% of the games that you bought are just never going to be accessed. We've tolerated worse.
We have, but I think that if you're that deep in the ecosystem, you're still going to be pissed. You're going to be like, I think about people I know, some of which we went to high school with, who are still in the ecosystem. That's where we went to play. Yeah. That's like, they're still there. And like, if they did, like, I don't know what they would do. I think they would honestly never buy a Microsoft anything ever again. You know?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. You know. This goes to the final point that I think is the move. But what was your third point again? It was
that was, let's see, there was the ecosystem, there was the... Oh yeah, they do make a profit on these boxes. Like, it's not like huge, but you know.
Do they make profits off the S's?
Yeah, totally. They do. It's not much.
Really cheap. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, $300, $250 went on sale.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not if they're making a profit off them. You know, I just feel like at this point, then I this just points to the move for them is to do their own Steam Deck, and just you don't have to make killer, most amazing graphics and you know computer hardware. It's just like, here you can play your Xbox games on this thing.
If they could get everything that's released so far for the Series X and prior that is available onto an Xbox handheld with like Game Pass working, I'd be all about it. Because like I own a PC handheld. I own the Steam Deck OLED, and I've played around with the ROG Ally that my friends owned and showed me. Here's kind of my big problem with like the PC handheld space is it's a pain in the ass to set up and work. In the case of the ROG Ally, the thing that does currently have Game Pass, it doesn't have like a handheld sleep mode that's easy to use and get into. So it's not like my Steam Deck where I press go in sleep mode, cool, I can go do what I want to do. Or my Switch where tap the button twice, alright, cool, I can go set it down. It's like, it has to go into Windows sleep mode, and then even then it loses your place in the game, and it holds up double middle fingers. You know, right. So it's like, it has no purpose. You know, it's like saying, and the Steam Deck has that too, if it's certain games connected to a launcher, if you put it into sleep mode, the game's like, whoa, you lost connection to the internet. Please go F yourself. And
21st century gaming, it's good.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that's actually something that I like realized when I was using my Switch, recently, and I went back to Mario Wonder. I'm like, it's really cool that I can just put this thing in sleep mode and pick up the game exactly where it left off and not have to worry.
Yep.
So like the Xbox doing a handheld is really appealing to me. Like here
Yes.
we made a Series S, and you can use it anywhere. Like it's and it's a decent, that's really appealing. Like the thought of buying another Xbox console past the Series X, for me personally, not gonna happen until that thing breaks. Like that's it. It's just not gonna happen. Like that thing is done in the ground. Like until that thing breaks. And the only reason I'd buy another one is to keep playing old games and Game Pass easily on the TV in the living room. Like that's what
Right.
it's for. Yeah. So I don't know, but a handheld, I'm like, ooh, all Game Pass games everywhere.
Yeah.
That's tempting.
Yeah.
That's appealing.
So
Especially if that rumor from last year is true, where they're trying to get the Steam store on Xbox. So it's like, ooh, if we can get the Valve Kool-Aid running on this thing.
Well, okay, so then what's the choice between the Xbox handheld and the Steam Deck?
It's you can easily run Game Pass without hoops and have console-like features versus the Steam Deck. Neither of those things. Well, Steam Deck's like kind of half and half on the console-like features. It's like sort of there, and then it doesn't really have Game Pass. Like you can do Game Pass streaming, or you can dual boot Windows, and like it's a kind of a pain in the ass.
I just wonder what Valve's approach will be if they allow Steam on the Xbox handheld. Then it's like, that's awesome. Like I'm gonna play a bunch of Steam games on that, but and then they'll get some money from that. But beyond that, it's like, okay, well then, what incentive do I have to buy the Valve?
Valve product.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, most of Valve's decisions go back into you are buying games on Steam.
which for me, it's like, that is happening, my friend.
So
that is going on regardless.
That is a big part, but now we can get the Xbox people buying games on Steam.
Right. That's right.
So that's the end result of that.
One more little bit I saw in here that I was like, huh? Quote, we also continued to see strong momentum for Xbox cloud gaming with a record 140 million hours streamed this quarter. So, I did the math. Divided I assume a quarter, 3 months, and it's not some weird business version of months.
You are right. It is a quarter. You are correct.
Okay, so
it's a normal quarter.
Divided it by 3. Divided each month into 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
If this would mean 500,000 people are streaming Xbox cloud gaming 3 hours every day. So,
out of 30 million users.
Out of 500,000 users. 500,000 users.
No, I'm saying the total Game Pass users. Like so 500,000 out of 30 million.
30 million?
Last I checked, I don't know, they could be up.
I would love to have access to those numbers so I could, like, if you've spent, over 3 hours or more in a week playing cloud gaming, how many players is that? I would love to know those numbers.
It's shocking to me the amount of people who use cloud in any capacity because it's just trash. It's so bad.
Well, so I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, it has to be turn-based or something that does not require like reacting to damage or whatever. Not playing sports, not doing any of that. It has to be so turn-based, and then it's like, okay, I have to be at a Wi-Fi. I cannot. I tried to do this like out, just using the signal, and you better have a good signal all the way from point A to point B, man, or else not only will it stutter, it will disconnect and it will forget all the progress you had. So
and
it's like you are on Wi-Fi.
And even on Wi-Fi, it has to be fairly good Wi-Fi, because I remember trying to use it in the hospital. Granted, this was like 2 years ago. And, like, the hospital Wi-Fi wasn't bad. Like, I was playing, like, World of Warcraft and whatnot in the hospital on my laptop. And I was like, this sucks. And I was playing like a dragon. It's not like I was playing a game that was, like, Yakuza Like a Dragon. I was playing like a turn-based game. I'm like, there's artifacting and lag, and the stream will randomly f up, and it's just like, okay. So,
Right.
So I don't know. I think that
I don't know. I would love to see what are the most played games.
yes, I would love to see
Cloud.
that. Because I cannot picture someone playing like Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on the Wi-Fi.
No, man, are you kidding me?
Just
I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up the Game Pass, the Xbox app,
the Xbox app.
and see what we got. Oh, Exoprimal. Let's see here. Forza Horizon 5. I'm not playing this, Cloud.
Well, yeah. If you look up the most popular games on PC or otherwise that are like cloud-based, like it is definitely like it has to be totally different. I bet you doing like Minecraft in cloud. I bet you doing Minecraft in cloud.
Yeah. Don't they have like a Minecraft mobile?
Yeah, but like if you have your account on Xbox or in the Microsoft system, maybe they have something for you there.
Oh, here we go. Okay, explain this to me. Most popular on cloud, Rainbow Six Siege. Number 1.
Bro, what the fuck?
Number 2, Forza Horizon 5.
Is this
Number
just like
3,
people?
MLB The Show 24, where you have to pitch and hit. Like,
is this just like okay? So this like people who are just used to the lag because they can't afford like an Xbox or something similar.
yeah, it could be where what I was doing when we were first looking at it, where I'm on my fiber internet, I'm gonna pull it up, and there's like a fraction of a second, but otherwise, like I can adjust.
Yeah, I like because I
Indiana
can't.
Jones number 4. Yep.
Okay, Indiana Jones you could kind of play on cloud. Like
Number
it's not
7,
great.
Halo Infinite.
That's fucking wild to me playing that game on cloud. Like I'm looking at the list you are, and I'm like, okay, Cabela, Pal World, sure, but then I'm just like, are you really playing some of these games there? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see what their connection and what it feels like.
It's like, dude, I'm on gigabit wired, and it was bad.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine like playing this on like anything less than that. Like it's
I don't know.
That's insane. It's insane, dude. Like
Number 9, Skate 3. I'm gonna have to try this after the show and see how it feels on Wi-Fi.
All right. Well, we do have another story related to Microsoft.
Okay.
That's I'm sure only good news. Hey, Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5 this spring. The port is being handled by Panic Button in partnership with Turn 10 and Playground Games, and will contain all the content available in the Xbox and PC versions of the game, and will have all the previously released car packs available for purchase, as well as the 2 expansions. Panic Button is known for the impossible Switch ports of games like Doom, Doom Eternal, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, as well as the PS5 port of yeah, and then a new free update is called Horizon Realms, coming to all platforms. It'll give players to enjoy a chance of curated collections of the community's favorite released evolving worlds. That's a great game.
Forza Horizon's going to get out there to more people. Like the Forza Horizon games are impressive.
The Horizon 5 is a great game. I think that this is kind of feels like them just throwing in the towel. It just says like
Xbox.
Yeah, Forza is like one of their big 3, right? Like their big 3 that's only on them. This just kind of feels like the start of them throwing in the towel for good. We're calling it a day. It's a great game. I really enjoyed Horizon 5. Bro.
Well, in that last news story, they were like, we are now the biggest and most successful publisher. We're way ahead of EA. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, bro, no shit.
Yeah, you're Microsoft. You've been putting out the Xbox. You got Halo. You got okay. You seem to be going in that direction, and if that's the direction you want to go in, good for you. But when you're talking like this while you still have a console out, it's just like
Yeah, it feels like it kind of reminds me of Bernie Stoller talking a bunch of shit about the Sega Saturn, like a year and a half before the Dreamcast is out, and everyone just stops buying Sega Saturns. Like, we know it's losing. You don't need to shoot it in the head this early.
I mean, this started with them. I mean, it didn't start, but like a big part of this push was themselves with their marketing campaign. This is an Xbox because y'all aren't getting the console, so here it is and elsewhere.
Yeah, and they need to sell these games to make money. I get it. I understand. It's just, it feels so shit.
It's one of those things where this is coming from our perspective is coming from our like teenage selves that was watching the old legacy games media and how the console wars actually mattered. And at this point, it's like Microsoft is looking for the best way to make the most money. And it is very clear that continuing to go with the traditional box is not their way forward. So they're going to find a way to succeed with this path. But we've been conditioned from, a couple decades prior. It's like, it's about the console wars. It's about Sony versus Xbox and Nintendo to a degree until the Wii came out. And it was like, well.
Well, and I think that this is Microsoft doing the Wii thing, just not as skillfully. I think it's them.
I mean, this is. Nintendo did the Wii thing, and it was like, but like what they did is like, they found a way to carve their niche within the console space.
Yeah.
And which forced it so that Sony and Xbox were directly fighting each other, knowing that they weren't going to compete with Nintendo with their specific thing. Xbox can't do that on the software side. So they're trying it with their business model.
And I think like I love the Game Pass business model still. Like I loved paying the like 200, I think it's $240 a year now, to play Call of Duty and Indiana Jones, and now I'm playing Eternal Strands and Ninja Gaiden Black. Like that right there is, worth the sub. And then maybe playing Avowed, and then maybe playing South of Midnight, and then maybe playing Doom. And it's like, yeah, like these games are, yeah, these games are great, and they're, I feel like there was a lot of reason to buy an Xbox for the first year, and like there's plenty to buy now, but it's like, well, cool, bro, you're bringing this shit to PlayStation now. You're bringing this shit to the PC day one, which, like, that's kind of a different audience, I admit, but it's still just like, feels kind of like GG. It's over.
So in a way, it's GG for. We declared this last year. It was the end of the console war. It's just not official yet.
Yeah, they're still
kind of giving in on the console war.
They're still
doing business.
There's still some Japanese soldiers out on islands, fighting. The war never ended for them.
They're going to be going for a while. I think it's going to be a couple years.
I'm so curious what the hell their next console, like normal console, is going to be.
Well, that's the thing. I think the move is to just go full on Switch, Steam Deck.
All right, like,
and then you can plug it in, and it can function as a console if that's how you want to use it.
I just think that, like, if they do that when PS6 rolls around, it's like the Xbox's graphics. It's the same dumb argument with the Switch, where it's like the graphics are worse. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a handheld. No shit.
Well, that's the thing. No, Xbox's thing has been like, we are the most powerful box, and like, guess what? No one gives a shit.
Yeah, and
so there's no reason for them to chase that.
And I don't know, to be real, the people who give a shit are probably playing on PC anyway. Most of them.
despite the rising prices, we keep coming back for more punishment.
Yeah, let me.
So
Yeah, so yeah, I'm finally at the point where I'm like, this next computer is gonna be the last one for a pretty good while, unless some new crazy tech comes out.